God.
She can disconnect her. They say her fault.
He's like my best friend.
Nice. Is it just friends or?
Yeah,
more like...
just friends.
Why'd you fuck them though?
Why did I fuck
Take it
him?
over here, daddy.
Why'd you fuck them?
Yes, I
you
did.
take it over here.
Wait, so you friends on them?
No, we broke up
What?
like 6 months ago because we're both like, I don't know, trying to be successful.
Wait, so he is the person you lost your V card to,
Right.
and he stayed in your life,
Yes.
and you broke up only six months ago?
I mean, maybe like 8. It was like June or July last year.
That was pretty long then.
Yeah.
When did you lose your V card?
A while ago. I think it was like 2020.
How old are you now?
2020 or 21.
She was 18 back
Yeah,
then.
I was only 18.
Oh, so that's only, okay.
No, I
I
think
was
she was
kind of
older
old.
than that.
Yeah, I waited, but like he was my best friend, and we started dating like the next day, so I don't regret it.
Who initiated the breakup? You did it.
Yeah, it was me.
Girl
Why?
boss to make money.
Because you said we wanted to be successful. I think more than likely it's probably
he
you wanted to be
agreed-
successful
No,
and
but
he
he
didn't.
agreed with me though. Like we both have like goals in life, and maybe we'll be like get back together. But
I
like
probably agree with out of his pride, but I mean,
well, I mean, I was like distracting him from like what he's trying to do, like business wise. So like.
Were you
taking
dancing
me-
back then?
no.
Yeah, I've been dancing since like the middle of 2021.
So y'all were together when you were dancing?
Yeah, when I started dancing, we were together for a while.
I mean, you're only a distraction if he lets you be a distraction. I mean,
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of like removed myself from like the situation. We talked.
Let me
about
ask you a question. And you could be honest about this. Would it be fair to say that dancing, earning a high amount of money, because I mean you can easily make 6 figures dancing, would you say that maybe played a role? Not the dancing in itself, but the money that you were acquiring and the connections you were making in the nightlife. Would you say that played a role
I think me seeing like
in
what
you
I've
initiating
been-
the breakup?
Yeah, me seeing like the difference between me having a 9 to 5 versus me dancing, like what opportunities I had. I
Yeah.
guess it did like open me
Oh,
up to
I'm a part of
a
you.
whole new world
Okay.
that I guess I didn't have before dancing. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna call this fucking the type of
What time is it?
5. You know what? I feel like that. What day is? What day is? Friday. I'm finna treat his ass though. God, I'm finna tell though, bro. Stop calling motherfucking people. Don't even, bro. Cause this shit. The detective, bro. The fuck did you keep calling motherfuckers, lying to motherfuckers for? I'm trying to just cut that up, bro. I'm trying to see, bro. What the fuck is this up at? Cause why is you lying to people? Keep talking about I'm robbing motherfuckers before I come rob your ass.
Oh! All right. Interesting.
I'm already on parole.
I
The
don't
fuck is I'm robbing somebody to go back to
I
jail?
feel like,
And the fact she
is
listening
anyone
to
gonna be
it just
stoked on
pisses
their
me
first
off.
time? I
You
feel like
already
unless
know
you're
if I
like
do something, I can go
religious,
to jail
right,
for
and you're saving
faggots.
it for
You know,
marriage,
fuck they
like
say that for
that's the
faggots.
ideal time for most people. But otherwise, no one's gonna have a perfect virginity story, losing your virginity. For me, luckily, it was someone who I was friends with, and we remained friends after that. We're still friends to this day, so I don't regret it. But I don't feel like anybody has a perfect losing your virginity story.
Listen,
Look,
you
they
and your
just
friends are
said that
dangerous,
right.
man.
Pardon?
Look what they
Your friends are
PO text me
dangerous.
that
Me and my
She
friends?
told
Yeah.
us.
What do you mean?
Last time you got a friend with a boyfriend,
Well, no, she said
he became your
that's
boyfriend.
Tuesday, so she
Your
didn't
friend
send no recent
took your V card. This is dangerous with you, man.
Okay.
So you said you don't regret losing your virginity because you just kind of wanted to experience it, you said?
No, not necessarily. I just don't think there's a perfect time. When is really you're like, no, that was perfect. I'm so glad I did that. I mean, maybe if you're in a super happy relationship and you waited, but for most people, that ideal losing the virginity thing is only if you're like religious, if you're waiting until marriage, and then it happens. I mean, I feel like it's very rare to have a story where you're like, yeah, that happened under the totally ideal circumstances. Like,
So you don't regret it because having it within, I guess, in a religious context just doesn't make sense for you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but
All right.
also nothing bad happened. It was a person I was friends with, so I did feel comfortable, and I didn't feel a way about it after or
Okay.
anything. We were made friends.
All right.
Do you still have any guy friends?
Yeah, I do. Mostly, actually, I do. Hey, okay, no, you know
Your
what?
boyfriend, if you're watching this,
He's
you know
watching.
what it was like. You were her friend too. So just saying, man. I don't know why you letting her have friends when you were a friend too.
You know what? You want to know what's funny is he a lot of his close friends are girls. He raised his sisters basically. He raised his like 5 younger sisters, so he's naturally gets along better with girls. And for me, I've always naturally got along better with guys. I don't know what it
Do you
is.
think a woman having male friends is the same as a man having female friends?
I think it depends on the context.
The reason I put lead gen on a license plate Lamborghini is because the fastest way that I found to 6
For sure, because I mean, especially, I mean, what is a friend, right? Living in a city like Miami, like, yeah, you got friends, right? But I mean, there's a difference between real, genuine friendships, like people that you've known, people you're comfortable with, people who don't look at you that way.
So let me ask you a question. Do you prefer to hang out? You're saying you have guy friends. I mean, I'm coming to the conclusion, you correct me if I'm wrong, that you prefer to have guy friends over female friends?
The people who I already have established in my life are mostly guys. But when I go out in a new environment, like I'll probably speak to girls more than guys, yes. But my actual best friends and the people I've been closest to in my life, if I was to count them up, it's a handful of people. Most of them are guys.
So you prefer, so you prefer guy friends?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so, because here's my thing. This might be a controversial take, but I genuinely think that women don't offer much in friendships. I think men offer way more utility because as a woman, when you have a guy friend, he can offer you boyfriend energy, whether you guys are intimate or not, protection, rational advice. You can be yourself and not have to worry about feelings and emotions and say what's on your mind because you don't have to worry about some passive aggressive retribution from him later on.
Sure.
But women don't offer as much utility back in return.
I agree most of the time, absolutely, so, but not every woman is the same. And I will say that I've definitely, through my life experiences, the things that I've been through, the different careers that I feel like I have utility. And
friendships, right, where women are with guys almost always often benefit the woman more than it benefits the guys. And I would be willing to bet that those guys, if given the opportunity to have sex with you, would.
You know what? And that's what some guy friends have said to me as well. They're like, you know what? They just secretly want to sleep with you. I really hope that's not the case because I feel like
think about it. Let's do some critical thinking here. They're friends with you, right?
Correct.
You don't even want girlfriends, yet you expect us to have girlfriends.
What do you mean?
You even prefer to hang out with guys more. Because you know that women are useless in general when it comes to friendship. So why would we want to have girlfriends?
Come on, that's putting words in my mouth. But I mean,
your actions dictate what's going on, though. I say actions always speak louder than words.
I mean, but that was a generalization, though. I agree that for the generalization and the stereotype of a woman, yes, you're absolutely correct. But I don't think that everyone fits into perfect little boxes like that. There are some women who more so have more maybe masculine traits, or maybe they provide utility in a way that other women don't, and vice versa when it comes to guys as well. Usually guys aren't able to be emotionally supportive to a female friend, for example, oftentimes, but then, you know, give a guy like my boyfriend who literally raised his youngest sisters and was in that situation, is able to provide that. So I think it comes down to life experience, but generally speaking, I do agree with you.
Yeah, bottom line is that it's not in a man's best interest to be friends with a woman. For you, it's great because you get utility from it. What I'm saying for a man, it's a waste of time.
I feel like I benefit my male friends. I feel like
How so? What do you provide that another guy couldn't provide?
Real, genuine advice about women that are in their life that isn't like based on, I guess, sexist stereotypes or the usual rhetoric that most people go by. It's like I'm able to tell a guy like, hey, you're being played right now, or you're being a simp. I didn't actually know that word until tonight, but in so many words, I can say that.
So realistically speaking, do you think you have what it takes to attract a woman as a man? Because you're saying you you said that you give advice. That's your main utility, right?
Yeah, that's not necessarily my main utility. I think I'm fun. I have a great time. Well, that is definitely an addition, but I'm just a great time as well. I'm fun.
I mean, but your own example from your past, right? You said earlier your boyfriend was your friend at first.
Correct.
Just being quite frank here, if I was your boyfriend and I knew your past, you have more guy friends, I'd be like, yo, I'm up next because it happened to me.
But I haven't dated any of my guy friends. I've only dated two.
You just said two. You just said two.
Yeah, but most of my friends in my life, my close friends, have been guys. And out of all of them, I've dated two. One of them was my first relationship. The other one is in the relationship.
Well, more than likely, it will happen again. You never know.
Well, I think I'm getting married, so
you think?
We'll see.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best, but I'm just trying.
All right, I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
Women are useless to men in general as a friend. Women don't offer much utility. The two things you just described, I can help him understand female nature and understand how girls operate. Well, I'm just better off with a guy because men understand what it takes to be attractive to women as a man. Women a lot of times give terrible advice to men when it comes to attracting women. Because you ask the fish on how to fish, not the fish.
Okay, that makes sense. But like, do you guys really, when you're hanging out with someone, you're like, yo, this is a vibe, this is really fun right now. Do you really have this checklist in your head where you're like, utility, this, that, the other. No, like you're just vibing. You're
Men
just
are only
hanging out
friends
with
with
somebody.
women 90% plus of the
That's
time.
what I'm saying.
Some type of
Person,
sexual
bro.
access. Some guys are
But
more
that's not-
patient than others.
Okay, well that's not my problem. I mean, if my guy friends are
Because
genuinely
you're the
like
one
that,
with having the sex. That's the point.
So it's not a real
They're with
friendship.
you for ulterior
do you
motives.
guys really think that my guy friends aren't actually real
Absolutely.
friends?
They're not your
Really?
friends.
Are you
I just
guys
want to fuck,
They're not your
bro.
friends.
I have
at all?
No.
say.
Zero?
They want
They're
to
not your
fuck you.
friends. Yeah,
They want to
smash.
fuck you.
The only reason a man
I
will
feel like
tolerate.
that's the only guy should.
Look, ladies. The only reason a man will sit there and be friends with a woman is for some type of hope, holding out that they can get sexual access at some point. Women don't offer much benefit or utility to a man to sit there and tolerate the fuckery that comes with being a friend of a female. You can get all those same benefits being with a guy who understands your struggles more, understands your perils better, and can actually identify with the situations. Men and women live different existences. There's certain privileges that you have that I will never ever experience, and vice versa.
For sure.
But for the most part, I would say women have more rights and privileges than men do. So therefore, I'm not going to befriend someone that lives life on easy mode when I live a life on hard mode because they can't identify all my problems. Unfortunately.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What about for, like, let's say people who are both in a relationship? Like,
That's
do you
like-
have any girlfriends and they're in a relationship? You're also in a relationship, so you know that line can't be crossed. So it's genuinely.
So here's the thing. There's always exceptions to the rule. The one time I've seen men and women be
Wow.
platonic friends to some degree, which I would argue it's more along the lines of associate,
Ain't gonna lie,
because
bro,
they're not
that-
hanging out without their counterpart being involved,
Mhm.
is where the guy is
Name
associates with the woman or friends, but they're doing
For
that
sure.
and they have to stay in that relationship
Yeah,
because
both
there's
of them.
dire social consequences should they step
I
out.
shouldn't be in it.
For example, you are friends with your guy, with your boyfriend's
Nah,
best
he's
friend,
like a fucking
because
loser
he's
boy.
his best friend. You would never do anything, and he would never do anything
I
because
ain't
both of
lying,
you would
man.
deal with
Nah,
serious
like,
social
them
consequences
two
if you guys were to hook up. That can be an example where there's a check and balance.
Right.
But in general, when there's nothing in place to check y'all's social situation, most of the time the guy wants to have sex is what I'm trying to say. Because women inherently benefit when they hang out with men, even from a friendship status, because you can still get the attention, the validation, the emotional stoicism to a degree, the male energy. Women yearn for that, which is why girls love male attention. So you still benefit. The man, however, doesn't.
Drains you.
And
That makes sense. From a biological perspective, like, surely, yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
simp
That makes
friendship.
sense.
It's like
And
OnlyFans.
usually, right, someone always gets feelings for one person. So, for example, at the beginning, it'd be platonic, but let's say like 10 passes, you guys
Like, the first one I need is
connection
like-
days, like, yo, you know what? It's actually pretty cool. I like her. People want to smash. Is what it is.
So you think anytime a guy's like, no, I actually like you, you're cool, ultimately it's gonna lead them to wanting to
But
fuck
wait
you.
till she
Well,
comes back
he's
here.
saying-
Call them right now. They're in Australia, right?
Yeah.
They're in Australia. I mean, I would say call them up right now, but they might be sleeping.
No, I don't really. Most of my friends are in the States.
Oh, you
Should I call one? Should we test? Should we test
We
the
could.
theory?
If
I
you're down
could
for
call
it.
one. I could call one, and we'll
you believe in
see.
them?
I do. I believe in him.
Well,
I mean,
they might
he's
know
in
it's
a-
Kat because she's in a pretty serious relationship.
And he's also in a relationship as well. So
That's the example. That's the
Yeah.
exception I gave to the rule where there's serious social consequences should one of them step out of that.
And you know what?
social
Actually, most
situation.
of my guy friends have been in that situation, so I really can't say that you're wrong. Most
Yeah,
of
but-
my close guy friends have either been in the relationship at a time.
But take that barrier down. You become single. They become single. Oh man, it's on.
Look what happened last time.
Going by accident, you're actually
Your
right.
own life tells you what happened
And you still live in
in that
delusion.
environment. Your
Even,
own life.
even with actual
Because-
experiences,
Point.
you still
No.
look hopeful.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Now it does.
You have a point or no?
I just had this teacher in 8th grade that just told us, like, from the get, there's no such thing as male and female friends. Like, you can't be friends with guys. Like, they always, one party always wants female friends. In 8th grade that just told us.
Now it does.
You have a point or no?
I just had this teacher in 8th grade that just told us, like, from the get, there's no such thing as male and female friends. Like, you can't be friends with guys. Like, they always, one party always wants to fuck the other. And ever since then, and I grew up like Muslim, and like my dad did not let me have male friends.
Oh, this is super
for-
Hello. Hello.